Hey everybody, great to see you. Hey, most of you have been doing a great job keeping up. One small thing, and I've mentioned this a few times now, when you submit files to me, make sure they're PDF files through Moodle. I don't need 200 emails with documents in them. All you do is just submit it through Moodle as a PDF. I'll find it, okay? All right. Let's start trying to be a little bit more conscientious about due dates and making sure things are turned in on time. We do have a test coming up next week on Wednesday the 15th, okay? So I'm gonna run through real quickly here, seed plant reproduction. So hang in with me and we're gonna run through all this stuff pretty quickly here. You ready? Here we go. The pollen grains, a small structure with water-resistant coating, doesn't swim, carried by wind, water, animals. So pollination, this is when the pollen grains from the male part of the plant go to the female part. So the female part forms a pollen tube, the pollen forms sperm, and then fertilization occurs. So we have pollination, fertilization. Pollination comes first. Got it. So seeds, the female part develops into a seed. The embryo produces the stem, leaves, and roots. Okay, so this is the embryo right here, a baby plant. Sorry, I don't have the plague. I just have a cough. So the rest of this is stored food, or the cotyledon. And then, of course, there's a seed coat, which just protects the seed. So gymnosperms, these are naked seeds. The seeds develop in cones. Angiosperms develop in fruits and flowers. So any flowering plants, angiosperms. So pines, firs, cedars, cycads, ginkgos, these are gymnosperms, okay? So gymnosperm reproduction, the pine tree is a sporophyte plant. The cones produce male cones and female cones. Cones produce gametophyte structures. And the ovule, this is the site where the eggs are produced at the base of the stem near scales of the cone. Okay, male cones, female cones. You've seen this picture. All right. In spring, clouds and clouds of pollen are released from these male cones. Where I lived in New York, the white pine would produce just clouds of yellow pollen in the spring. So the wind carries the pollen to the female, must be blown in between the scales of the cone. Seeds are released in a very, very long time after the pollen reaches the female, up to 3 years, guys, up to 3 years for the seeds to be released. Okay, so now angiosperms. Now we've talked about this already, the stamen and the pistil. So the stamen is the male structure, contains an anther and a filament, makes the pollen. The pistil, the female structure, contains the stigma, the style, and the ovary, which contains the ovules. Pollen lands on the stigma, forms a pollen tube, goes to the ovary, pollen gets in the ovary, fertilization. Once again, pollination, fertilization, and then eventually you get zygote forms and forms a new plant. Gymnosperm, angiosperm. Okay, so what happens once the seeds are produced? Well, we have germination. So germination is a series of events that results in the formation of a plant from the seed. Now there has to be the right conditions, temperature and light, or else the seeds will not germinate. So you can plant seeds all you want, and if it's not the right temperature and not the right amount of light, the seeds may never germinate. They might never sprout. So germination begins as a seed absorbs water, a seed coat breaks open, energy is released from the cotyledon or endosperm, same thing. This gives the food for the roots to grow, then the leaves, then the stem. Now, because the plant isn't doing any photosynthesis until it gets out of the soil, and then its little photosynthesis factory starts working. But it's got to have all this food from the cotyledon or the endosperm until photosynthesis starts working. Okay, that is that. Now, in Moodle, I put a list of things for you to do today. Of course, there's a quiz. You may have already done that. There's some assignments due today, and I believe there are also 2 assignments due on Tuesday. There's a quizzes, and there is a review sheet. Those are both due on Tuesday because we have our test on Wednesday. Okay? Hey, if you have any questions at all, if you're getting stuck, if you're getting behind and you need to figure out a path to get caught up, let me know. I'll work with you to get you caught up. Okay? All right. Hey, until later, we'll see ya.